What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It is Cjthecheesedj here, back with another ARK INSIGHT video, and as you can tell, we are underwater, where we are just happily frolicking along, drowning to our death. Now, as you can tell, we are probably doing something with underwater dinos. Well, you guessed correctly. We're here to look at the Dunkleosteus and the Megalodon today. But before we begin, I just want to say a huge thank you to everyone who's new to the channel, all the new subscribers, all the viewers, all the likers. Everything means a lot to me, guys. So for that, I decided to give you an uncomfortable, extremely close zoom on my hideous looking face. Thank you very much, guys. Thank you. Alright, without further ado, let's get underway with the video. So the Dunkleosteus is the very slow dino of the sea. He is a sloth. You can see here we're at full sprint speed and we're not very fast. Now, the good thing about the Dunkleosteus is that he's the only sea dino that actually damages stone structures underwater, which is pretty incredible if you ask me. Now, he's very slow, which is his only downside. However, he does have a huge amount of melee damage, which is rather impressive. But you can see here, he's got about 710 health, 200 stamina, 910 weight. His weight is also extremely high. And 134.1 melee damage, 100 movement speed, basic stuff there. So if we come over to the Megalodon over here slowly, when we decide to get there, there we go. The Megalodon is pretty much the shark of the sea, which is not metaphorical for anything whatsoever. Now, he's probably one of your first ocean tames that you're definitely going to want to tame up. He's much better than an ichthys in my opinion, and he can do a lot of things better than the ichthys can. He can also attack underwater, which is an extreme bonus. Now, he has slightly lower stats than the Dunkle. He has only 600 health, 320 stamina, 250 weight, which is a big downside when it comes to the Megalodon, definitely one of his flaws. And then same melee damage, same movement speed. So he does have slightly lower health, but higher stamina and a lot lower weight, which is a kind of a downside. Now, like I said earlier, the Dunkle is able to hit stone structures and do damage to them underwater, whereas the Megalodon can't. However, another added feature of the Dunkle is that he's able to gather oil from these oil nodes rather effectively. Now you can see here we've just gathered 117 oil from one oil node, as well as 200 stone. Sorry, I think it was only 100 stone. Yeah, 100 stone. So he is rather impressive when it comes to deep sea oil gathering. And I did not mention this as well, but the Dunkle is also slightly larger than the Megalodon. You can see them side by side, and a size comparison, the Dunkle is larger than the Megalodon. Okay, but for now we're going to test their speed. So what we're going to do is we're going to start from this starting point here. Now, because the Dunkle is so slow, we are only going to go a short distance. We're going to go up to that reef bit there. You can see that grass foliage in the distance. That's where we're going up to. So the Dunkle managed to complete the course in an astounding 14.5 seconds, which is an incredible amount of time. Now, he ran out of stamina about a third of the way there. You can see that, and boom, we're out of stamina. So it took him a very long time to get to the other side of our course. And he finally manages to hit it there at about 14 seconds, which is incredibly slow. That's the bad thing about this guy. He's so slow. You can see here he has no stamina, and he's a sloth of the sea. He doesn't move fast at all. The Megalodon, however, managed to complete it in about 5 seconds, which is a lot better than the Dunkle. Trust me. You can see there we just completed it. He's much faster than the Dunkle. He also has a lot more stamina than the Dunkle does, which is a very big bonus to him, although he still doesn't have a lot of stamina. But you have to remember, these guys are level 1s. So as they level up, they would, in the wild, before you tame them, they would have more stamina on tame. The Dunkle wouldn't make that much of a drastic difference though, which is his downside. Okay everyone, so now we're going to take a look at their turning radius. But before I continue, I just want to say a quick apology for sounding so nasally. I may be slightly sick today. So apologies for that. If you can notice in my voice, it's slightly different. Just wanted to get these videos out for you guys. So yeah, so now we'll move on to their turning radius. Now their turning radius for each other is roughly the same. You know, they're both relatively large water dinos, so they're going to have roughly the same turning radius. But you can see here the Dunkle's is still pretty wide. Although if you're out in a vast open ocean, that's not really much to worry about because you've still got to be able to maneuver. And you know, you don't really need to maneuver all that much unless you're trying to outswim certain dinos or other things. So you know, you don't really need to worry about their turning radius too much. The Megalodon's turning radius, I think, is slightly better than the Dunkies, in my honest opinion. You can see here he's got a much smaller turning radius, which is much better than the Dunkies. So you've got to take that into consideration. As well as this, like I said, his stamina is more as well. It's almost it is two times more than the donkey's stamina use. Alrighty, so like I said, the donkey is actually able to damage stone structures underwater. Now, I can't show you on this, however, because they belong to me. However, I can tell you that they do a base damage of 900 damage to the stone structures, which is rather incredible amount. It's rather high for an underwater mount that can only deal damage. That is the only dinosaur, sorry, to deal damage underwater to stone structures. Okay, so the Megalodon's melee damage, he does 53 DPS, which is pretty high for an underwater mount. I mean, you take it into consideration against the other land dinos, and the Megalodon is pretty powerful in terms of DPS. Although he has nothing on the donkey, which you will see soon, right about now. The donkey does an amazing damage to other dinos. So he does 80 damage to other dinos. That's 80 DPS. That's only 16 points short of the Giganotosaurus, which is rather incredible if you think about it. That paired in with the fact that he's able to deal damage to stone structures underwater, he's a pretty incredible dinosaur when you think about it. Alrighty, next up we took a look at their Torpor. Now you can see here from this table that the donkey only takes a measly 105 trank arrows to knock out. That's right, you read that right, 105 trank arrows. Now these are for level 50 dinosaurs, so you've got to take that into consideration as well. Now I have not included the shocking trank darts and the trank darts in this because you are underwater and you can't use the ammunition underwater. You're only limited to your trank arrows. Now he also does have a torpor rate loss of 2 torpor loss per second, which is kind of high if you think about it, which is slightly a bad thing. Now, if we take a look at the Megalodon only takes 21 trank arrows to knock out underwater. So, you know, there's a big difference between him and the donkey if you look at that. His torpor rate loss also was only 0.6, which is also slightly smaller, a lot smaller actually, than the donkey. Alrighty, next up, the battle to the death. So what we're going to do is we're going to set them both to aggressive, but we are going to unclaim the Megalodon. There you go, you can see there. Now, while we're doing this, one thing that I did not mention about the donkey is that he actually takes reduced damage from dinosaurs. Now, you'll see shortly here, he actually takes reduced damage from the dinosaurs. You saw, if the Megalodon, you can see there, the Megalodon only did 14 damage. Now, you did just see that the Megalodon's DPS was 53. However, due to the donkey having armor plating as well as, what is that? Okay, that's a trike coming out. So due to the donkey having armor plating, it is able to take reduced torpor damage as well as regular damage. Come here, trike. So, you know, there's that actually added bonus to it as well. So if you ever plan on doing an underwater raid, you know, make sure to take him with you because you'll easily be able to, you know, take on other dinosaurs as well as turret structures, which is pretty useful as he takes the reduced damage. Now, whether you should tame these guys up or both of them, well, I definitely recommend taming up a Megalodon. Okay, well, that kind of went south because of the truck. Anyway, I definitely recommend taming up a Megalodon because he's pretty much useful as your first water dino. You can use him to traverse the oceans. He's got good melee damage, good stamina, good swim speed. So I definitely recommend taming up one of the Megalodons. Now, a donkey, well, that comes down to personal preference. I mean, you can use him to crack open oil nodes, get a lot of oil, as well as harvest black pearls from the eutropids down below on the ocean floor. So you've got to take that into account as well. Now, he can be used as a raid dino to break into stone structures and absorb damage for other dinos. So once again, it comes down to personal preference. Alrighty guys, well, that'll be it for today. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, let me know down below. But thanks for watching guys, and I'll catch you in the next one.